Hi, everybody. So this is Seals. Some of you call me Prophetess Seals, and I'm outside of the library. I decided to step outside because I wanted to make this video. Now, I speak to the spirit realm most of the time when I say things. And I made a comment today before the Nassau County executives that I want to add a little coverage to because some may have understood and some may not have understood. So I'm going to make this very clear for you. So, one of the first comments that I made is that generally speaking, whether it's the House of Commons, the House of Lords, the House of Leads, the US Congress, the US House, the US Senate, whatever you want to call it, parliamentary procedure, I'm just being sarcastic and facetious. Whatever you want to call it, right? It's a circus, it's a show. And you always have chiefs and Indians, right? And I always have to play the Indian. I never get to play the chief. I never get to play the chief. He's laughing. Say hello. I always have to play the Indian part. Now, I happen to be an Indian. I'm mixed, Indian, black, whatever. But this is not about Peshawar or Hindu or Nepali or Bangla or Paki. This is not about that when I say Indian. I'm talking about westernized Indians and chiefs. When they talk about leadership and they say everybody can't be a chief, some have to be Indians, right? Okay. It's always the black people being the Indians and the white people being the chiefs, right? So I said, okay, God, I've been dealing with this shelter thing. Now, this is how you fry up a principality and power with a quickness. So, because in my pursuit of trying to house myself with my own social, okay, which should not be an issue at all, seeing that my name is registered on there, I said, let me take this a little deeper because when I walked into the county executive forum, I saw the circus. Barnum Bailey Circus in full bloom. Now, I'm not trying to insult anybody, but what I'm saying is this. Let me start with the commendation. I commend all of you who work effortlessly and tirelessly to support the United States government and other governments around the world. I know how political you are. I know how political you can be. I know how divisively political you are. And one of the things I have done is washed my hands of that. Now, I am not a relative to Mr. Dick Cheney. I am not a relative to his daughter, Liz Cheney. But I respect that the individual that he is speaking of is his daughter's daughter. I respect that. But that individual is not my responsibility. And if that individual switched any type of documents of mine or used my documents or did anything to be legitimate in the country, it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me. So when Mr. Cheney says that Donald Trump, quote unquote, which is a brackets I.E, comma, I.E, Donald Trump, when that individual, Donald Trump, is a detriment to the United States or to government as a whole, I get what he's saying. However, he's not saying it because an Indian woman stands up at the podium and speaks truth to power. That's not what he's saying. He's saying whoever this delegate is of Donald Trump's, they are putting democracy at jeopardy because they're not fulfilling their responsibility. We're having to chase them. And in all of their name swapping and identity swapping, they're leaving the delegate unvoted and they're leaving the party up in arms lots of times. So you have people at the town hall meetings talking about gerrymandering and redistricting and things to get their votes in because the person they've pinpointed to do the delegacy, the to vote the delegate for Trump is not doing it for the GOP. And they've narrowed that down to quote unquote whoever they're calling Trump. Now, that's probably Ashley Candela or Kelly Reaper Gibson Gonzalez, Megan Trainor, somebody like that. That would not be me, right? So they say, okay, so as I was talking to them, I'm saying to them, so I said to them this. I said, first of all, thank you for allowing me the podium to speak. I gave respect to the Congress, right? Because for sure, within the crowd, there were members of the Senate and the House there. It wasn't the Nassau County Board. It was other members there. And then there was other people there present too who were people of influence. And they wanted to hear my position. So I said, I spoke thanks to power for the opportunity to speak. Thank you for subpoenaing me to come in and speak to you today to give you a little understanding of my perspective. That's what I said. Now, mind you, I only had like 6 minutes, 5 minutes to speak. So I had to cut through the chase. Now, I fashioned what I said the way I fashioned it because these people know me, believe it or not, and they know my situations, believe it or not. So what I said to them in a nutshell was this. I said, everyone deserves to go home. They can understand that as lawmakers, no matter whether they're Congress, Senate, Assembly, State, Senate, whatever, they can understand that, right? I said, everyone deserves to have a home. They can understand that. I said, it's just like your hair, your teeth, your nails. I said, they can only be yours, or else you have a problem. That's why you have a problem. Now, some people are like, well, what does that mean? It means that the reason you're subpoenaing me today before you is because I got your teeth in my mouth. And you wouldn't be asking questions of my identity if you did not unlawfully and illegally place your teeth in my mouth. Why is Liz Cheney's daughter's tooth in my mouth? That's, first of all, not even hygienic. Second of all, I knew nothing of it and I didn't consent. So they just allowed that comment to, okay, we got you, we understand. Now, the people in the audience who didn't understand that, they didn't understand it because they don't have a security clearance high enough to understand secret protection, doppelgangers, and working for the U.S. government. I'm just now coming into the knowledge of that. So I'll just leave that right there. They said, okay, so don't go any more into that. I won't. Now, so the next thing I said is everyone should have a right to go home. I personally feel like I'm a hostage. Now, I know they were like, okay, so you feel like you're a hostage. So I heard Joe Biden speak about that, right? Joe Biden said, well, guess what? I'll tell you what. We are Americans, and we're going to make sure that every one of you are going to get done. Meaning, we're sending all of you back where you came from. Don't worry. And that's his sarcastic way of saying, we know this is an immigration problem. Okay, that's fine. But you should have respect for me to not continue the foolishness. Now, I wasn't threatening anyone. I was simply saying, I don't want to be part of the circus. So then I took it a little further and I said, There's a reason I've never served in the House of Commons, the House of Lords, the House of Leads, the US, or the Parliament or anything. Now, Nancy Pelosi said, "What an idiot. I can't believe she said that." But the definition of a terrorist is an individual who reserves political power under some guise, well, not so much preserves political power, but moves and operates politically, whether it be legitimately or illegitimately, to cause grief to a nation, to the constituency. And I personally believe in the rule of law for any country, whether I know it or not. And so I believe that if you reserve political power in my name or with any identity document that I'm using that has my name on it, you're a terrorist. You are a terrorist. And you, as a terrorist, are holding me hostage. And everybody should have a right to go home. So you need to take your teeth out of my mouth, whoever you are, and stop using my identification to hold me hostage. Now, if you want to argue whether the number belongs to me, that's fine. I can surrender the number. But you can't deny me services when on the date of billing, I'm asking for a service that I qualify for and that I have documentation for. Because everybody, regardless to their visa status, should have a right to go home and should have a right to go to sleep in peace and be safe. And then I said, and to my knowledge, it was Ukrainian Dennett who offered me this social through Carolyn. Now, I don't know if Carolyn is the French dispatch, is Germany, but she was working as an authority for Social Security Administration at the time when she gave it to me in my hand. Now, we know that's not how it comes. You have to order it. Okay, that's neither here nor there. These are my points. Now, I know I sounded a little cray-cray in there, but they understood me. Why? Because these people know me. How? These people brought me to the US. These people brought me to the US. Let me say it again. Those people brought me to the US. So they know that I'm not Jackie Kennedy. And they know that I'm not a US citizen. These people brought me to the US. And these are the same people that change their names, change their identities, and become every candidate in every government where you want to be. And if you are never asked personally to serve in government, it's because they are pretending to be you and you are not a real person. And I told them, I don't work here. I don't get paid. I'm not part of the scheme. I'm just trying to have a place to sleep and I'm just trying to return to my country. I don't want to participate in the terrorism.